Hello, humans. This is Brandon with episode 53 of Not a Robot Podcast's DC Comics Review Show, the world's greatest podcast about the world's greatest heroes. They keep coming back, so I'll introduce them. As always, I've got my partners in crime with me, the amazing Rob.
Oh, amazing. Oh, shoot. That's better than anything I was going to say.
Oh, geez.
Why, thank you. You are sensational.
And the incredible
Brandon.
Josh.
Hello, humans.
He's also immortal.
Yes. This week we'll be covering Detective Comics number 1040, Action Comics number 1033, Robin number 4, Mr. Miracle, The Source of Freedom number 3, Batman Superman number 20, Infinite Frontier number 3, Batman Secret Files Huntress number 1, Superman Son of Kal-El number 1, and Teen Titans Academy number 5. And of course, make sure you stick around until the end of each episode to hear our top 3 books of the week, The Biggest Stinker, and to find out which titles might just make the dump list. But before we get going with the show, I just want to say thank you to all of our Patreon supporters who help out with $1 or more a month. And thank you listeners too. Like, download, and share our episodes so we get more listeners and can bring you more content. You can get access to our Patreon and the rest of the Not a Robot Podcast shows at notarobotpodcast.com. So with that out of the way, let's get into some news. So guys, what's new this week?
Well, new with me, I recently had my mind changed on a topic I was very passionate about.
Oh?
Now, a few weeks ago, the listeners might not know, but if you listen to the Roundtable podcast, this was brought up. So a question was asked about a hot dog. It's a sandwich or not. And I was on the very, very small side that it's not a sandwich. But one of the Not a Robot fam sent me a picture this week that her friend follows to a T, and it details the cube rule of food. And that depending on the sides of the cube that are lit, if you will, that are used, it can differentiate different types of food up to 6 different types, 6 different categories for some reason. But I like that idea, and honestly, it's not a sandwich, but goddamn, a hot dog is a taco.
A taco. Okay.
That I could go with, but
Yeah.
It is most assuredly not a sandwich.
Definitely not a sandwich.
Yeah, I think it could go both ways, honestly. I'm honestly not too picky on it. I can see the case that you could make for it being a taco or a sandwich.
All right, is a calzone a ravioli?
Well, I honestly, it really is just like a big piece of ravioli if you think about it.
Oh, you hurt my heart, sir.
Oh, really? I mean, basically, is that not true? It's just a giant piece of it's just a giant
the dough's
piece.
different.
I mean, I suppose, but like, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty similar.
All right, fine. All right, so yeah, we had that conversation on the roundtable. Well, I didn't, but Rob was there, and quite a few of our other people. We had that on the the roundtable podcast, but that was crazy. And something else that I found on the internet today, I found it was probably way crazier than that. This is nuts. And so very unlikely to ever happen. But so I guess from James Gunn's mouths to ours, he has approached Disney and Warner Brothers about doing a Harley Quinn and Groot crossover.
Oh, God.
That's funny.
Also starring
amazing.
King Shark, Weasel, and Rocket Raccoon. Now, admittedly, it's likely never going to happen, but he's put it out there. He has on more than one occasion, he's kind of like popped that in their ear. What do you guys think about that? King Shark, Weasel, Rocket Raccoon, Groot, and Harley Quinn.
I think Margot Robbie's gonna have a hell of a time just acting with CGI castmates.
That's for sure.
That sounds awesome. I'm not gonna lie.
Guardians of the
Queen.
Suicide?
Or the Guardian Squad.
The Guardian Squad?
I like
Yeah,
that.
there you go.
All right. I suppose that's the best PG version of it.
Yeah.
other than that, man, I don't know if you guys have gotten the chance to check them out yet, but Static is frigging awesome, man. We don't cover the Milestone comics that are on there because they come out on in person. And anyway, we get them, but Rob has them delayed, so unfortunately, it's not fair to him. I just wanted to mention it real quick that they've got some really, really great art. And with Static, it is continuing an awesome origin story. I'm loving this just as much as I did the cartoon. And actually, it has the potential for me to like it even more. And that's really high praise. And Igon and Rocket had an awesome first issue, too. The way that they set it up was really cool. And the art is, honestly, it's phenomenal. Both of these comics, though featuring superheroes, look like they plan to stay based in the real world with real world issues going on around them. And I can't help but think that it's only going to make the books even better. So support Milestone. Enough said. Wish we covered it on here so we could get into it, but Rob's Canadian, so blame him.
Yes.
Also, I just really want to quickly say, and I promise I won't harp, because if I did, it would take me 45 minutes to stop, and that's bare minimum. I am so glad we're not covering Checkmate. That's all. I promise. But ooh, I'm so glad. Okay, I'm done now.
I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. Is it that bad? Eh?
Yeah, I haven't read that issue either.
Oh, it just made me mad.
Oh.
It made me really, really mad.
Mm.
From cover to cover. Don't ask questions if you don't want me to start.
Well, comic fans, I have a bit of interesting news. For those of you who don't know, I happen to live in the New England area, and native to us is a local convention called Terrificon. It's a 3-day event. It's at the Mohegan Sun, which is a casino/convention center in Connecticut, and it has a pretty decent array of guests coming in, namely some pretty cool comic creators. And I mean, just to name a few, they're bringing in guys like Jim Starlin, John Cassidy, Sean Gordon Murphy, Dave Johnson, Lee Weeks, Klaus Janson, Dan Jurgens, Tim Sale, and the one I'm definitely most excited to meet, Donnie Cates, who's been a regular at the show for a couple of years now. So I throw that out there.
Lots of good people.
Yeah, I throw that out there, humans, just as a bit of interesting news. And also, if you would like the opportunity to ask any of them any kinds of questions, please, give us a shout on Twitter or, shoot us an email or anything like that. And I would be more than happy to ask them a question, as I'll be doing a couple interviews at the show and, just getting a chance to talk to them. So please, by all means, if you have any burning questions that you want to ask for these people, don't even hesitate to give us a shout on social media, and I'll be happy to oblige.
Yeah, we'll pass the message along, because
Yes.
this guy needs Zyrtec to just even say the word Twitter. That's why he says social media. But he'll ask as many questions as he can until he feels like it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
tweet away.
Not to make it uncomfortable right away, but if you talk to Sean Gordon Murphy, tell him I love him and he's my hero.
I will. Yeah. I don't know. It's it'll. I mean, I'm going to see how many interviews I can squeeze out without trying to be too annoying. But I guess the good thing about being on the Not a Robot show is now I have a little bit of legitimacy to it. Because before it would just be like, if I was just kind of doing it for fun, they'd just be like, I don't really have time for this or whatever. But now, I have a show backing me, so I can really play that up. Hopefully. Anyway, yes, listeners, please, if you have any burning questions, like I said, give us a shout on social media. I won't see it, but rest assured that Rob and Josh will bully me until I make sure that I ask them these questions. So
He knows us so well.
yes.
Such a great detective.
Any other news?
other news not that I'm aware of.
I was kind of reading something. So Superman in the DCEU, there's been a lot of controversy over the years. 1 second, let me just bring up the article.
controversy over
Oh,
Superman
just-
in the DCEU?
Yeah, just like casting and whatnot. So there was rumors, there we go, that I think it was even confirmed that they were going to reboot Superman and have him as a black Superman. I think we talked about this.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the rumors were stating that it was going to be an original character, and that just lit fire to so many flames because everybody was thinking, what about the already existing black Superman that were there that we already look up to? And Michael B. Jordan was attached to it, as the rumors go. Well, it's now been confirmed that he is attached to it, but it's going to be a series on HBO Max, and it will be about Val Zod, the Superman.
That's right, I
of
forgot
Earth
about
2.
that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I probably won't watch it, but very cool.
Well, hey,
no-
if it's on HBO Max, I would give it at least the very first episode, give it a shot.
Yeah,
I mean, it is
I
Val
just-
Zod.
I've made no secret of this, but I am just so terrible at keeping up with a lot of these shows, either because I lose interest or, I don't know. I have other things that I would prefer to do, if I'm being entirely honest. Like it feels like there are so many things that I just haven't had a chance to even catch up on. And this is not exclusive to DC. This is pretty much everything. I still haven't seen Wonder Woman 1984 or Loki. Don't bully me.
Oh, wow.
I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Oh, that's
I won't
okay.
bully you about
haven't
any of the
watched
Marvel
Wonder Woman
stuff.
84, but Loki, what the?
Yeah, I know. It was like WandaVision. Like it took me a very, very long time to watch that. Not because I thought it was going to be bad. I don't know. I just didn't have that huge interest in it to begin with. But yeah,
You know
I
how
wish
long
him.
it took me to watch WandaVision?
I'm guessing you haven't watched it.
And not even a single
Yeah,
episode.
Figured as much. But yeah, I wish him the best. I hope the project goes well.
I hope so.
Oh, it will.
I can talk about one more thing. It's not related to DC Comics, but it is related to a creator from DC Comics that interests people.
Shoot.
So I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with Scott Snyder, DC
Yeah.
Comics writer extraordinaire, mastermind behind the Court of Owls and Black Mirror and many other DC projects. Well, a couple days ago, Comixology announced a, I guess, multi-title deal with a imprint that he has or has developed over the past year called Best Jacket Press that will be shepherding 8 new books, 8 new creator-owned books from Scott Snyder over the next year, in an exclusive deal with Comixology and with an exclusive print deal at Dark Horse, meaning that the books, the physical copies, will come out from Dark Horse, but they'll be released initially via Comixology. And
That's cool.
I could go through all the.
Please tell me Capullo is an artist.
He is, yeah.
Yes,
I can go
yes.
through the titles if you guys want. I can just briefly mention them, but it's basically a who's who of all the creators that Scott has worked with over the years that are absolutely amazing. So he's got a book with Jock, who he did, Witches with, and of course Black Mirror, and Francis Manapul, Justice League. He's got a book with Raphael Albuquerque, American Vampire.
Wait a minute. Is the book he's doing with Jock the sequel?
It is not,
Witches?
unfortunately. It's a new
Oh,
book. It's apparently going to be more like prose focused, which I think is cool, because I think Scott is a talented prose writer as well. Yeah, he's got books with a new book called We Have Demons with Greg Capullo. He's been teasing this one for a
Sweet.
while. Night of the Ghoul with Francesco Francavilla, and then another
That's gonna
book
be
with
good too.
Jamal Eigel and Juan Castro. A book with Dan Panosian. I'm definitely really excited for that one, and a book with Tula Lote, who I think he did All Star Batman with. So yeah, it's just I would say it's like the all star cast of artists that he's really great with, and I'm definitely excited for it. It's definitely a lot of books, and I don't know if I'm gonna love all of them or read all of them, but I'll definitely give them a chance. And for any of you lucky son of a guns out there who happen to have Amazon Prime, you'll know that with Amazon Prime, you will be able to read all of these books for free on release because it guarantees you that free access. So yeah, I'd say definitely check it out when they start to drop. But
What?
Yeah, apparently. I
have
didn't even
Amazon
realize
Prime.
this.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I didn't either, but Jeff Lemire was also doing like a similar thing with a book called Snow Angels, and like I saw it in my feed and it was like, you can rent this book for free right now. I was like, are you serious? Of course. Why wouldn't I do that? So yeah, yeah, they should be dropping later this year according to Snyder and his team. So like I said, definitely, give them a shot and tell us how you feel about them and all that stuff. I mean, we may cover them more on the indie podcast, but just wanted to throw that out there, given that I'd say Scott is a pretty popular creator that I'm sure most of us enjoy. So that's all I have.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoy some Snyder, man.
Mhm.
I am so sick of the Batman who laughs though. Oh, good God. Uh, that's about it, man. Speaking of Batman,
Yeah, speaking of Batman, excellent segue. Let's get into our books for this week, starting with our first one, Detective Comics 1040, which is going to feature our main story brought to us by Rob and a backup story featuring Man-Bat brought to us by Josh. So, Rob, kick it off for us, please.
All right. So this one is from writer Mariko Tamaki, with art by Dan Mora, colors by Jordi Belair, and letters from Aditya Bidikar. Bruce has turned himself into the police. He can't have the police chasing him and Batman if he's going to do what needs to be done. And Oracle promises him she will get him out of prison, and a few seconds later she gets the evidence and sends it to the police. She's that good. They still have to keep him for the weekend, though, so Monday morning he gets out and goes home in time to see his house is on fire. This was done by the Penguin, who, working with Mr. Worth, has a plan to take out Bruce and Batman using none other than, at least I think it was, Hugh Vile. Yes, that's the feeling I got. That guy in the bed at the end was Vile.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's kind of vague. But yeah, it's a good thing he has all those caves around the city, because he's homeless again.
I'm sure he'll bounce back, but I'd definitely be feeling pretty bad right now, considering that's some serious, property loss.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming he was owning that place.
I'm pretty sure those are attached homes. Are they
Yeah.
not? So
Oh,
his neighbors are pretty screwed as well.
I know. There goes the neighborhood. Thanks,
Yeah,
Bruce.
quite literally. Yeah, well, the art, as always, was fantastic, especially that as I hate to say it, that house fire was gorgeous. It really was. The colors, Jordi Belair has a talent with colors. My
Yeah.
God.
And how great was that
does.
flashback? Like I
Yeah.
just
So
seeing
cool.
Dan Mora draw the classic like 70s Batman, blue and yellow
So
oval
good.
suit, so great.
I loved it. Yeah,
That was awesome,
that
man.
sequence was pretty cool.
Mm.
But I don't think anything's really going to come of it. It was a cool little sequence, but that guy, when he woke up sober, he seemed to forget the entire interaction.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a cool issue. It did feel like a setup issue. It was the first issue of the new story arc technically. So
Yep.
it's not as big as the other issues have been for me so far, but I still really enjoyed it. This was an 8.5 for me, if not only for the colors and the art. It's just fantastic.
I gave it an 8.5 too, man. I mean, like you said, it's looking great from Dan Mora and Belair. Really good. And to me, it looks like we're taking a big step forward in the story. Or at least that's what we're led to believe, man. I'm gobbling it up. Gobble, 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 gobble. Yeah, 8.5 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah, this one got an 8.25 for me. Like you said, it was just more of a kind of a setup issue, bringing some of the major players together, like Penguin and Mr. Worth, and they're really putting their plan in place. So I'm definitely on board to see where it goes, and I think the writing and art is as solid as it has been throughout the majority of this run. So I'm really digging it. But next up, we will finish our review of Detective Comics 1040 with the Man-Bat backup. So Josh, tell us all about it.
Yes, sir. Written by Dan Waters with art from Max Rayner, who is really good. I'd love to see him on more titles at DC. Arif Prianto is on colors with letters from Rob Lee. This is titled The Quiet and Unsung Death of Kirk Langstrom. And that is exactly what it is. Throughout the years, as it's pointed out in the story here, Kirk Langstrom has repeatedly turned himself into Man-Bat over and over. always eventually hurting someone else, sometimes people he really loved. After turning a page while being a part of Wonder Woman's Justice League Dark, he comes to find out that he is harboring this evil within that feeds on his fear and insecurities. It lives in between the conflicting souls of Kirk Langstrom and Man-Bat. Knowing that means that there's always been enough, no matter how small. That gives Kirk the strength to contain the evil as it tries to escape. And by contain, I think that means pull his body back together, because it looked like he was exploded. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it definitely looks that way.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so it tries to escape. He re-envelops it. The evil within does kill Langstrom, but not before it's subdued. Man-Bat dies to save us all. And no one can ever know, or the evil within could gain strength once more and come back and kill us all. Not cool. It looks as though this isn't the end of the story, because it does say to be continued in Detective Comics, so that's cool, but Man-Bat is gone, at least for now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was 7.25 out of 10. Fun read, really easy to look at, too.
Yeah, I actually really dug it a lot.
Yep.
And I hope that this story gets picked up soon. I hope, it's not just kind of forgotten. But I mean, I know that Kirk is going to be in Task Force Z, but I hope that we can kind of get more involving that aspect of Kirk's death and like the whole mystical thing surrounding it pretty soon. So I gave this an 8 out of 10. I really dug it.
Yeah, I completely forgot he was going to be in Task Force Z. Yeah, that makes sense.
Did you say Task Force Z?
That is right.
Canadians.
Ew. I'm just kidding. Love you.
I even say Dragon Ball Z sometimes just to bug people.
Gross.
No, this was a gorgeous chapter, if not a little bit somber, because I loved Man-Bat. He's, as far as Batman villains go, I know he's a little bit on the lower tier, but I thought the idea of him was fantastic. I've loved him since I was a kid. And anytime he pops up, I get excited.
Yeah, and he was great in Justice League Dark, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really was good in JLD.
Yeah. So I do wonder if we're ever going to see what happened at the Tower of Fate to give him this demon parasite. That's a damn shame, but yeah, it's obviously not the last we're going to see of it. It's an 8 out of 10 for me.
Nice. All right, should we move on to the next one, or do you guys have any final thoughts?
I gave the whole issue an 8 out of 10. As far as Detective Comics goes, man, they just keep on hammering out wins. I've seen backups falter here and there, but this one was great. Super easy on the eyes. Easy 8 out of 10 for me, man.
Yeah, I can agree with that. It was an 8.25 for me. It was just a solid book this month anyway.
Yeah, no, this one also got an 8.25 for me. I mean, pretty much exactly what Rob said. It was just a really solid issue all around. Backup was good, and the main story was good as well. Can't complain.
Oh, I can't.
No, but moving on to our second title, we'll be looking at Action Comics number 1033. This was brought to us by Philip Kennedy Johnson with art from Daniel Sampere, colors from Adriano Lucas, and letters from Dave Sharp. So a duo of spies sneaks into Atlantis to steal the Genesis fragment, only to be immediately caught by the Atlanteans, who see this act as a declaration of war. Not a great way to start. While the Justice League debate over how to handle the situation, given that the spies were acting on behalf of Amanda Waller, Superman is the one who steps up, asking the important question of what do we do about Warworld, and in particular, how he can handle the situation. Superman declares that he is going to be the one to liberate Warworld, and he asks the rest of the Justice League to join them. We don't get an answer just yet, but I imagine Supes will be going on his own, given that the Authority are going to be showing up pretty soon.
Right.
Back in the Fortress of Solitude, Thalaw is testing out her powers, and John is being suspicious as usual and flies away because he's not very trustworthy of Thalaw, while Lois is trying to warm up to her and even gives her a Kryptonian gift. Thalaw rejects the gift, saying that she is not a child and that her chains are evidence of that fact, that her chains represent the fact that she is a warrior and that anyone who can step to her should fear her. Lois is a bit taken aback by the situation, but we don't get a full resolution of that as we immediately cut to Warworld and Mongol, who is a bit worried that Thowlaw is forgetting her place and feels that she needs to be reminded of her true mission. That's not very good, is it?
Nope.
So, as Mongol prepares to send one of his agents to remind Thowlaw of her mission, the Atlanteans and what I believe to be a shipping crew are having a bit of a standoff, declaring that if one of them does not get out of the way, this will end in war. But that's right about the time when Superman should and does, in fact, intervene to stop the situation and hopefully make sure that nothing gets too out of hand. As we cut back to the Fortress of Solitude, and Thowlaw is mourning over the wounded comrades that were in the war zone, Mongol's agent arrives just at that time to remind her exactly what she needs to do and when she needs to do it, only to be directly intercepted by Lois Lane, who declares that Thowlaw is one of them now, and when you pick a fight with one of them, you pick a fight with all of us. I really liked this issue. Yeah. Hell of an ending. I really liked this issue. I'm continually impressed by Philip Kennedy Johnson's ability to just suck me into this, story of War World and now involving Atlantis and so many things. And it's almost like the story is growing with each issue. Normally,
do you know what Philip Kennedy Johnson did? Do you know what he did?
I do not. What did he do? I feel like this is about to be a joke or something.
He made it so that Superman wasn't boring anymore.
Yes, yeah. It's I gotta say, like, it's been really refreshing to read a Superman story that I really like, that has, continually just brought in my interest and has me like excited for what's to come. And I feel like the Superman books are in a really good place right now.
Hell yeah. It's been a long time since something longer than 3 issues held my attention.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's I would say it's definitely quite a departure from Rebirth, when it was just kind of Clark and Lois and John on the farm, but it's still just as interesting, I would say. Even if it's, like I said, it's almost like it's growing and growing, each issue getting bigger and bigger, and it's still kind of keeping my attention. And I think it should go without saying that if you pick this issue up at your local comic store, or you see it on Comixology, or literally anywhere else, I don't even need to tell you that the DCUniverseInfinite.com. That as well. I don't even need to tell you that the art by Daniel Sampere and Adriano Lucas is amazing. Literally just look at it. Gorgeous. It is so gorgeous.
There's not a better team to draw the super fam.
Seriously, it is absolutely insane. And these guys have been bringing their A game for a while. We saw them a little while in Future State Aquaman, but it is just so great to just see them draw this book every month, and I love it. So I gave this one an 8.5 out of 10. It's, like I said, I started with some decent interest on this run, and it's just continued to improve.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. Like, you guys said it all. It's a gorgeous book, and yeah, Superman's in a great place. I am so excited for the way this is going. Shit's getting real in this book, and I love it. My only thing I can think about is, though, based on what Lois said earlier in the book, her face is going to be so red when Clark doesn't come back.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy.
That won't be good. I do have to say though, and I want your guys' input. I honestly think Sampere, I'll have to look and see what other versions look like, but I honestly think Sampere's version of Mongol might be my favorite. It looks so good.
It does.
It really does. It really does. And while I can't sit there and flip through a memory Rolodex of every iteration of Mongol, I can say that it really does look amazing.
Yeah.
There's really very few things to complain about in the art whatsoever in this book. Mm-hmm. Good luck finding something.
Yeah, I can't think of any right now.
Me either.
I gotta just say.
No, go ahead, Rob.
Sorry. At least when the MCU, a lot of geeks I know talk about, when it comes to DC versus Marvel, they compare Thanos to Darkseid. But if I may, Thanos' DC counterpart is Mongol.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a lot closer.
It makes more sense to say that.
Yeah.
At least in origin, I think they're a lot closer.
Yeah. Plus, Thanos is kind of like nature of well, he's not really an Eternal anymore, but he was born to Eternals. And Mongol's nature of basically just having a child that like looks exactly the same and acts exactly the same. So he's almost like this self-perpetuating person who, even though each one is like a new version, it's basically the same. I'd say they're similar in that way too. Yeah.
However, Thanos is after balance in the world, and Mongol is after violence and domination.
Yeah, their motivations are a little different, I guess.
Darkseid's is just to undo everything that's alive. So,
yeah, well,
he's like Thanos, do the extreme.
Yeah, just I guess his thing. Well, I always saw his thing as more like domination, like because that's why he wants the anti-life equation, so you can just submit people to your will, or whatever the anti-life equation actually does that week. Who knows?
Right. So before we hop off of this one, guys. I don't know if I trust these so-called refugees. I don't know if they'll be on the good side of things by the end of this.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust them either.
Yeah.
Here, look, I'm thinking Superman decides to go to Warworld because they do end up being bad guys, but he believes it's only because of the conditioning that the people there who live there go through. So he has no choice but to attack them.
I think that's a pretty fair guess.
That's what I'm assuming. I gave it an 8 out of 10, though.
Nice. How about you?
Need to go higher than that.
It was 8.75 for me. The art was just fantastic.
Oh yeah, it's just so gorgeous. Yeah. I could gush about it so much. But moving on, we'll go to our backup story featuring Midnighter. So, Rob, take it away, my man.
All right. So this is from Becky Cloonan and Michael W. Conrad, with art by Michael Avon Oeming and colors by Taki Soma, with letters from Dave Sharp. But Mr. Miracle is freeing himself just in time for Midnighter to rescue him, so I guess it all worked out. Midnighter is very violent, as we all know, which Mr. Miracle seems to have a problem with, but after a hammer toss save during a team-up fight against Trojan security, that sways him around. Andre Trojan is watching this happen, and he's very angry, which makes him more angry because he thought he was past those base emotions. To finish Midnighter off, he sends out his new weapon army of machine man hybrids. And quite honestly, I was feeling it throughout the entire issue, but that last page really made me feel like the story started to turn in like a episode of Venture Bros.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. Just to confirm that Rob watches Venture Bros like made my day.
That's awesome. Yeah. Did you assume he watched Venture Bros?
I didn't know, but I love it. I love it now.
I haven't watched all of it, but I have seen some. I was more on Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law.
Fair enough.
Yeah. But I'm still convinced this is the story to read for Infinite Frontier. Besides like the 6-issue main story going on with the event, I really think when it comes to tie-ins with Future State, this is the one to watch. It really does feel like this is what's going to change at least what was going on in what was it, the Superman World at War. This whole thing was taking place. That it could tie into that, and it could change everything.
It really could.
Butterfly effect. You never know.
I mean, everything is definitely being woven together, so I'm with you on that one. For sure. This was good, man. I'm looking forward to the annual.
Yeah, it's gonna be so good. There's still a couple, at least maybe one more chapter in the story before the annual, or 2 more. I'm not sure.
It's 1 or 2.
Yeah, one of the 2. Yeah. But yeah, this is fantastic. Michael Avon Oeming, his art has been consistent, and it is, I'll say it's an acquired taste because it's a bit cartoony, but I think it works really well with this story.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of his art style, and I don't even care anymore. The art style it's just, I've come to appreciate it because it just matches what's going on here. And that's not to say that a cartoon should be exceptionally violent, but hey, I'm a fan of Archer too, so what the hell.
Yeah.
It really works for me. The one thing that I'm curious about is on that last page, what the hell is up with those weird ass Krang vehicles?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Like Krang, isn't that the thing from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, with the little head, in the robot.
Yeah.
That's what that reminded me. I'm like, Krang? Especially the dude with the purple visor up there, because that looks like the top part of the robot.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This was a fun one, though, and the story's just gotten so good. It got, it's a backup, so it drops down a little bit, but 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave this one a 7.5 out of 10. It was just like, kind of a solid installment in the Midnighter story so far. Can't really complain. And Mr. Miracle's cool, so, just a solid job all around.
Yep.
Yeah. It was
all around.
8 out of 10 for the backup for me. Only just because I had so much fun with this one. This might have been my favorite part of the entire story.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
8 out of 10 all for the whole book for me. It was the book as a whole is just pretty damn good, and it consistently stays that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can't complain about Action Comics.
Nope.
Definitely not.
It's so weird to say that.
It's very nice to say that, though.
Yes, yes it is. Yes it is.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's it, man.
Yeah, all right, let's move on to our next book then. Next up, we have Robin number 4, and this issue was brought to us by writer Joshua Williamson with art from Jorge Corona, colors from Luis Guerrero, and letters from Troy Pateri. If the last issue was about Damien making friends, this issue is all about Damien learning the way of the Zen. That's pretty much the entire issue, as Damien takes a little time to heal with his grandpa on an island close to Lazarus Island, but away from the other fighters. We get more shenanigans on Lazarus Island as Ravager tries to find Damien and calls for help before she is finally killed by Respawn, who knows that her death will finally begin the tournament. After Roz fills Damien in on how he ended up on the island, gives some vague info on the League of Lazarus and his connections to it, and his new Zen outlook on life, Damien decides it's time to get some answers. After doing some surveillance on a meetup between the League of Lazarus and assassins on Corto Maltese, Damien realizes he's not alone anymore, as he is being followed by some old acquaintances, to put it lightly. After all, when a Robin goes rogue, what else can you do but have a Robin reunion? Or is it a Rumble? I guess we'll have to find out next month.
It's a Robin Roundup.
Yeah, Robin Roundup. This issue is... I'm loving this series so much. It's just so much fun to read, like, every month.
It really is.
And, like, I don't know if you guys are reading Batman and the Outsiders, but... I freaking love this resolution for Ra's al Ghul, because that whole thing was like this big anthemic moment where he, was basically trying to use some alien technology got from Lex Luthor to, manipulate the world. And I just love this idea that like he basically got so embarrassed by Black Lightning and Batman and the other Outsiders, he's just like, you know what? I just want a vacation. Like screw this. I just need some me time. I'm just gonna go like be on an island and fish and grow out my beard and just like relax for a little bit and recover. And it makes sense too, because he's, his whole thing is like sometimes to win you have to lose, and Damien chides him on that. But it was just such a fun issue, and like I was just, it was just like that's really all I have to say. Like this series has been so much fun, and like I was totally smiling by the end when they all show up, and it was the only thing I have to say is that. I like the art for most of the issue, but the problem, I just had one problem, and that was the way that Dick is drawn at the end. It just looked really weird. Like his face looked so derpy, and like his body is all like puffy. And it was very strange. But other than that, I didn't really have a problem. It's just that like one panel at the end, and all the other Robins look fine. It was just Nightwing for some reason, but other than that, I had such a great time reading this issue, and I gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Oh yeah, dude, the art is wicked cool, and to me, it feels almost like it's a blend of the way modern comics are drawn with manga,
Mm.
and I think it's really good. It's working for me, and the coloring is sweet too. And yeah, Damien still has anger issues, but it seems as though his influence from Alfred Ravager and Ra's al Ghul, or I've been waiting a while to make this joke. He's a hippie farmer now, so it's Ra's. It's all good.
Yep. There you go.
But as far as Damien goes, I see him on a better path, and of course, he's getting on this case just as he's pulled away. Although she's never had the moniker. When the Robins show up, I feel like Cassie should be included in the group of Robins. And Signal should be there too, whether or not him and Damien get along at all. But in any case, I'm dying to know what happens in the next issue, man.
Yeah, me too.
8.75 out of 10. It's like, get your hooks in, you can't get it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every issue, this book finds new ways to keep you excited. It's just so much fun. And yeah, Corona's art flows so well. It's honestly one of the best things about this book. And the story is fantastic too. So that's definitely saying something. It was really fun as well to see Ra's al Ghul in this way. Not just like a homicidal maniac almost.
Yeah, he's very very zen, like I said, just super relaxed.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he's given up his supervillain ways.
No, he's just that's why I was like, he's just taking a break.
Yeah.
He's on vacation, which I love.
He's on a sabbatical.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I need some time. I need some me time. And the idea of Ra's al Ghul, like this crazy leader of the League of Assassins, having some zen me time is just so great and so hilarious.
Right? He's like, I've lived to be over 1,000 years old, and I've conquered civilizations. I'm not allowed to go to the beach.
I know. Like, yeah, man, hey, do what you got to do. I can't blame you for that.
Right?
Exactly. This was a 9 out of 10 for me. It was just a great issue.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Mr. Miracle, The Source of Freedom. Number 3. Josh, tell us all about that one.
I can do that. It was written by Brandon Easton with art by Fico Osio and Rico Renzi on the inside, and on the outside by Unique Paquette and Nathan Fairbairn with lettering from Rob Lee. So the fight continues between Mr. Miracle and Never Free, while Never Free and her army of green liquid computer dudes. The fight carries over to an island where Mr. Miracle and the Mother Box hacked into the green dudes, and well, they didn't realize that they were getting hacked back.
Mm-hmm.
Never Free whoops the snot out of Mr. Miracle and leaves him crumpled on the ground, bleeding, begging for help after they've disabled his Mother Box. So why is all of this going on? When they connect, the Mother Box and the Computer Clan, Mr. Miracle is shown a brief clip of a rebellion launched on her planet whose rebels flew flags with the face of Mr. Miracle on them. We've got no idea why, or if she's even in the right universe attacking the right Mr. Miracle, but that's where we're at in the story. So this art, it fits the story so well, it makes it so much easier to digest everything that happens in this book. Now, while my summary was quick, the read didn't feel that way. I'm not saying it dragged out, it felt like a regular good length issue. It was just real, I guess it just pulled me in pretty good. Probably I think this may have been the most interesting issue so far in the series. And it's only number 3, but it's worth saying.
Yeah.
I was assuming that the series would lead to a tie-in with the whole World Saga thing that it's supposed to be a part of, but I guess we'll see if it's going to happen. Even if it doesn't, regardless, I like it. I gave this one an 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah, this has been way better than I thought it would be. It's just been fun. Yeah, it's been a fun ride, and I can agree. This is probably the best one so far, which makes me really excited for the next one. If the quality keeps getting up, issue 6 is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is an 8 out of 10 for me. It was just a fun ride, and Sorry, did you mention I don't know if I caught it, the surprise character?
Thaddeus Brown?
No, the other one.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I will.
I left it out on accident, though.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I'm excited to see Oberon again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was a nice surprise. I'm happy he's back.
Having Oberon back, and then the next issue we're going to be exploring a Thaddeus Brown origin story. I'm interested to see what happens there and how much it's going to piss people like Brandon off.
Why would it piss me off?
Well, it made you a little mad that they retconned Mr. Miracle's Charlotte Norman's.
Oh, I assume
origin
this
story
is on like some a different Earth or something. So it's not really that. I wasn't. I guess I wasn't sure at first, but it feels like this is different reality. I guess it didn't really click for me until this issue.
I don't know. I feel like it is this reality.
Because otherwise that wouldn't even make sense with the other books that they're doing right now.
I mean, you got a point there.
Yeah, and that would be some major editorial oversight that would need to be corrected if that were the case. So I'm pretty sure that this is like I think it's like Crime Syndicate, like technically in the Infinite Frontier multiverse, just on a different Earth.
You could be right.
Yeah, that would be my guess. Just so it's not.
I mean, it's got 3 issues left. That is a little bit of time to make a whole lot of curve.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, it's solid. I gave it a 7.75 out of 10. It's doing a good job around, and the artwork is as beautiful as ever.
That it is.
All right, are we ready for our next one?
I believe so.
All right. Next up, we have Batman, Superman, number 20. Rob, take it away.
Will do. So this is from Jean Luen Yang on writing duty, with art by Ivan Reis, inks from Danny Mickey, colors from Sabine Rich, and letters from Saida Temafonte. So Superman, Batman and Company, the movie versions, not the real-life versions, are preparing their next move after Oterio. I still don't really know how to pronounce that.
Oterio? Oterio.io?
Yes,
I assume it's like
Auteur.io.
Yeah, I assume it's like
an author. Or...
Yeah, like did you guys ever play like Slitherio?
Slitherio.
Yeah, I assume it's like that.
Slither.io.
Slitherio, however you want to say it.
Yeah.
Whatever. So weird. But yeah, him. He vowed revenge against the world of tomorrow. And then he gets rescued by his archivists. The heroes make their way to the burn in reality that they came through and find the world of tomorrow thanks to Jimmy Olsen using his signal watch to call Superman as he and Lois are being attacked by the demon horde of hell led by Etrigan. While the heroes battle in Metropolis, Etrigan is looking for the most powerful weapon in the world and finds it at the Fortress of Solitude. For me, it's still a solid story. The art is still really good, and that makes me so sad this book is ending soon.
I know.
I feel like it barely got a chance to really flourish, and we're not even done the first story arc yet. I can't even imagine what we would have had if it was able to keep going.
Yeah, I feel like we would have gotten more, creative story arcs like this, and maybe we would have gone back to the Archive of Worlds, or maybe we'd have done something different. But I'm right there with you. It's such a bummer that this just super creative book just got canned.
Yeah.
But enjoy it while it's here, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, this was an 8 out of 10 for me. It was just... It was fun. The art's good. The story's good. There's not much more to say apart from it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like watching a movie or 3 at once.
Something like that. Yeah, no, I was surprised at how fast I got through this issue, and that's not to say it was short or it didn't have any substance. I was really into it, almost to the point where I got to the end with Etrigan and the Fortress of Solitude, and I was like sad. It's like, oh, it's over already. Bummer. But yeah, it was just like Rob said, it was just a lot of fun, and the art from Yvonne and the others are just as great as usual. So I'll definitely be sad to see this book go, but like I said, I'm going to try and enjoy it while it's here. So I gave this one an 8.5 out of 10.
I gave it a 7 out of 10. And the only reason why I got that is because ultimately it is a fun issue, and Ivan Reyes drawing is just awesome. But it's just not important. And it is a fun ride, but I mean it's a full price comic book for really pretty art, but I mean ultimately it's something that just doesn't matter. So it's taking up space on my shelf.
I can see that. I guess I'm just trying to. I know, like, it's in the grand scheme of things, probably not the most important book, but it's kind of a fun side book, especially for how many other books we have just focusing on the mythology of everything, and it's just nice to have something that's kind of off to the side and fun.
Yeah, like a diversion from the regular stuff. And I suppose, like, if I didn't know that it was ending, I'd probably not be so detached from it already.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
I
that's
guess
totally fair.
that's probably figuring into my attitude about it.
Yeah.
right now.
Although, I mean,
But
I'd say it's probably a good thing that you do know it's ending, because I know I'd be pissed if it was just like, if I was waiting for issue 23 and it just never came. It's like, what the hell is
right.
going on? Where's the book?
Right.
I mean, that has happened in comics in the past, and
Yeah.
it's not been pleasant.
Like
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Aquaman.
Yeah. Or shit, the days before the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get reminded of, I think it was called The 12, that short Marvel series from about 10 years ago
Mm.
that got to issue 9, and then 3 years later issue 10 came out.
Oh, Jesus, that's gotta suck.
Yeah. And by that point nobody
Wow.
cared. Yeah.
Was that Jeff Johns writing it?
That is-
Probably. I don't even remember now, but
I think it's Straczynski, J. Michael Straczynski,
Might
if I
have
remember
been.
correctly.
I don't even know now what the problem was. It just took forever to come out.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
I knew
yeah.
Jeff Johns didn't write it. It's just his publishing practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he seems to be
Yeah.
better now, at least. I mean, Three Jokers, it took forever to come out, but when it came out, there were no delays or anything like that. And
That's true.
I'm reading a series, an image right now called Geiger that he's doing with Gary Frank. And I mean, knock on
yeah.
wood, but all 4 issues have come out on time. It's incredible. And I mean, there might be more coming soon, but they only have a 6-issue arc plan right now. And seemingly every issue has come out on time. So we'll see if he can actually stick that.
Publishers are going to be that's great and all, man, but we're going to need the whole run up front.
Yeah. That's probably why. They're probably just like, you need to have everything like in the can, otherwise we can't
Right.
touch it. Speaking of super big things that are digging into the mythology of the DC universe, let's talk about Infinite Frontier number 3. So, all right, everybody, it's time for our Infinite Frontier check-in. So let's go. This issue was brought to us by oh wait, you guys all gave your scores, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure. Just blank for a second.
I mean, I gave mine. You
Yeah.
gave yours, right?
I believe
Right,
I did,
Rob?
yeah.
I remember giving mine.
Okay.
All right, cool. This issue was brought to us by writer Joshua Williamson with art from Paul Pelletier, Jesus Marino, Tom Derenick, and Zermanico, with inks from Norm Rapond, Raul Fernandez, Tom Derenick, and Zermanico, with colors from Romulo Fajardo Jr. and letters from Tom Napolitano. So let's start with Alan Scott and Obsidian. After chasing down some foes and kicking major ass, they find their way to the Shade, who tells them that they should be looking not at the foes of the JSA, but the foes of the JSA's legacy. Obsidian knows exactly what he means, and they set off for Command D, which we should all remember from Final Crisis, as the testing site for the Apocalyptans, and is now owned by the DEO. Sentinel and Obsidian do some snooping and discover a transport ship in Command D before being ambushed by Extract, Agent Chase, and the rest of the DEO. On Earth 22, President Superman and Thomas Wayne catch some heat from Magog, who doesn't want any more multiversal trouble. Justice Incarnate shows up to assist them and find out more about the fragments of the exploded ship, yet Magog insists that they all leave. They're able to get some answers about the origin of the ship, but it seems that the multiverse is not quite as harmonious as they had hoped. Barry Allen, prisoner of the Psycho Pirate, runs after something, wishing to be the hero, but we're not quite sure what. Finally, let's check in on Roy Harper. What's he up to? Roy has been blasting off into space with his Black Lantern ring, seemingly controlled by Darkseid, but he's regained some control now and is trying to navigate himself. Eventually, he's picked up by a ship, the ship we saw in Command D, actually, and is introduced to an Agent Hammond, who plays nice with Roy at first, before revealing he's actually a reborn, less ginormous head version of Hector Hammond from Green Lantern. Roy seems like he's outmatched, but someone else is causing trouble on the ship, or rather inside the ship, as they burst through the walls like the Kool-Aid Man. And in times of trouble, who else can you call but Infinity Incorporated? What an issue. Lots of stuff going on. Lots of big reveals, lots of further mysteries, but I have to say, a lot of fun.
So much to talk about.
I know. But you know what's so crazy? And Josh, I think you can probably relate to this as well. Never did I think, especially not in like 2018 or 2017, that I would be reading 2 books by Joshua Williamson in the same week and loving them as like my favorite books out of the entire week. It's so crazy.
Oh, hell no.
Like,
there's no way.
Such a turnaround.
I mean, I used to throw so much shade at him.
Yeah.
I mean, he got approximately 45% of the hate that I threw at Bendis. Which is, I mean, that's quite a lot.
That's
man.
quite a lot. I don't know if I threw that much shade, but it's crazy how much he's turned around the past couple of years, at least for me, and he's putting out some of the, I think, most entertaining and enjoyable books. So Infinite Frontier was just, it's such a great like exploration series. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's just looking at all these different effects of, you know, the last big multiversal event, and is also exploring a couple other mysteries and really focusing in on some characters, and it's just a lot of fun to read. And like I just don't really have enough good stuff to say about it. And I definitely think that in this issue, if I can critique one thing, while I did enjoy most of the art, you could definitely tell that it wasn't quite as seamless. There were definitely some points where it's like, ooh, yeah, these styles didn't really mesh quite as well. But other than that, I had no problems
I'll give you
at all.
that.
Yeah, so I ended up giving this issue an 8.5 out of 10. Like, this and Robin have just been so enjoyable, and props to you, Josh. You've been hitting it out of the park lately.
Thank you.
Well, not. I mean, you too, Josh. Joshua Williamson, but also Josh from our podcast. You're great as well.
Brandon, I don't, unless I missed it, maybe I did, but I can't believe that you didn't mention the fact that they referred to the bleed, the space between worlds, like as in from Wildstorm.
Oh yeah, no,
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's I think that's been integrated for a little while now, but yeah, I mean that was cool too. And
has it been?
Yeah, I think they had if I remember, they've had the bleed, and like, because there was like this whole one shot during Dark Knight's Metal where it's like Flash and Cyborg and Raven traveling on a ship through the bleed.
I think they even brought it in through like Final Crisis, because I think I remember back then.
I think they just kind of, because I think it was one of those things where it was like, that's so cool in the Authority, that they just kind of folded it in because they liked it, because writers liked it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, like I said, like, props to you, Josh. Both of you, you've been doing great work lately. Josh with editing, and Joshua Williamson with some really great work at DC. So keep it up. Like I said, I gave this one an 8.5 out of 10.
He's saying that without knowing how long I've got to talk about this.
All right,
go ahead.
Can we talk for a minute about, I'm excited Infinity Inc. is back, but the cast list for Infinity Inc.
Hell yes.
is very interesting, because a lot of these characters, as far as we know, haven't existed in this continuity yet.
Yeah, or have been dead, I think.
Yeah.
Power Girl, Jade, Atom Smasher, Wildcat 2.0, and Damage.
Yeah.
who is he's the son of the original Adam Smasher.
Yeah, but as I remember, that Wildcat, the female version of Wildcat, died. So I think she's like back from the dead now.
I'm
Which-
pretty sure Damage did as well.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
He dies
Damage
a
died
lot.
during Blackest Night, I think. I don't remember.
No, he wasn't out around Blackest
I
Night.
think he did.
Damage came out when Sideways came out, right?
No. I said he died during Blackest Night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was. Pretty sure it was. But
Well, there was a Damage book during that 8 book, like the same time Sideways came out, but I think that was a different Damage.
Mhm.
Wasn't it? I didn't read it,
maybe.
but not like the
No,
Damage.
I didn't
Oh yeah,
read it
no. That
either.
was like the Hulk like knockoff.
Right? Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's-
I can't remember. I've read Blackest Night so many times, and I know he was part of it, but I can't remember if he was a Black Lantern or if he was dealing with a Black Lantern.
I
I think he might have got his heart
Everybody
ripped
was a
out.
Black
Yeah,
Lantern.
I remember him dying and then
I
becoming a
think
Black Lantern.
Adam Smasher came back as a Black Lantern and tore his heart out.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you guys, Rob, you brought up the lineup, so can I just share this fun fact with you guys?
Yeah.
Power Girl, also known as Kara Zor-El or Karen Starr,
Mhm.
made her first appearance in All-Star Comics in number 58 in 1976 as the cousin of Superman from Earth 2, stranded in the main DC Comics universe. That's who Power Girl is. Crisis on Infinite Earths eliminated Earth 2, and then she became the granddaughter of an Atlantean sorcerer. It's been a little crazy. Infinite Crisis restored her to a refugee of Krypton, but long story short, her continuity has been all over the place. But the one thing that has always remained at all times has been the controversy of her boob window. Now, this is something that...
Oh, okay. I didn't
This
know
is
we were
something-
going there on our fun, family-friendly podcast.
But listen, family friendly. We dropped the F-bomb. So listen, this made me laugh. Power Girl's co-creator Wally Wood's artwork showed her as a relatively busty, but otherwise her figure and build conformed in appearance to other contemporary comic book women at the time. Over time, that would no longer be the case, and the keyhole cutout opening in the chest of her costume grew and grew. Later, Power Girl writer Jimmy Palmiotti would state, when the character was created, Wally Wood was the artist that drew Power Girl, and he was convinced that the editors were not paying attention to anything he did. So his inker said, every issue, I'm going to draw her boobs bigger until they notice it. It took 7 or 8 issues before anyone was like, hey, what's with the tits? And that's where they stopped. True story. That is a quote
Wow.
directly from Jimmy Palmiotti.
I guess
Who,
that's...
by the way, he offered to buy the rights to Power Girl if they didn't want to make stories about her. He said he would.
Yeah.
Well, that's somebody that really gives.
I can believe that because, I mean, Wally Wood drew a book called Canon. If you've ever seen Canon, I doubt people have read it. It's like really hard to find, but if you've ever looked up,
heard of it.
yeah, if you've ever looked up pictures of Canon, you can literally just look up Wally Wood women Canon. It's like, well, basically, if you can imagine what he was doing with Power Girl and the story Josh just told, just imagine that with like 5 more women, except they're entirely naked the whole time, and that's the story. So yeah, I can believe that story. But anyway, let's get back to Infinite Frontier.
Yeah, sorry.
A fun little anecdote.
I read that story today. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm gonna, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm gonna bring that up. But
Good
yeah,
job.
I'm excited about Infinite Incorporated 2. I guess Infinity Incorporated 2.0. The whole book looks great and continues to be a really good story. I can't wait for the rest. Something else I put together, and I don't know if you guys want me to go through the whole thing, was there is the questions that get asked that are on his tablet, Director Bones, at the end of every issue.
Yeah.
Every week they change.
Must
And there's
have a lot
this
of
whole
questions.
dude, there it is. Yeah, so I'm not gonna go through them all, but there's a hell of a list. You could probably Google it. Anybody out there that wants to see what it is, but it is forcing me to think a lot about what could possibly happen because the questions are very targeted. And I think I hear an echo, man. I hope I'm not that loud in none of y'all's ears.
I don't think so.
All right. Okay. But anyway, all right. So I won't read the questions. Go Google them. But it's a pretty awesome book, man. 8.5 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just a fantastic ride so far, and I, as a Green Lantern fan, I'm speaking from that perspective. I was really excited to see Hector Hammond as just a normal guy, and it's making me wonder how many other like small changes are going to be made in the DC universe that just pass people by, and because that's honestly a huge change. He's had a giant head forever.
Yeah.
And now he's normal again, and for some reason being the captain of an intergalactic spaceship that takes in dead people. Like, how many changes are going to happen? It's wild. This is a 9 out of 10 for me. And I'm gonna quote you, Brandon, probably 9.5 on a good day. It's
God.
just been so good so far, and I'm so excited to see where this goes.
It really has. Really has.
That very reason that you mentioned is why I'm so excited about what they're doing to Mr. Miracle, because I feel like it could really change things.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. Same thing here.
So many ways it can go. If I do have one theory though, and this is just based on the short bit we got with Barry Allen, I think he's gonna die again by the end of this. I mean, we have Wally as the Flash now. Bart is back.
They can't kill off Barry Allen. He's got a big TV show on the CW.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah. We don't.
It's probably going to end soon anyway.
Yeah,
that show will never end.
This season.
I don't know. I don't watch it, but it probably never will. I see like an article on like Newsarama, and they're like season 12. I'm like, holy crap, it's still going.
Yeah, it's been a journey, but yeah, I think
season 12.
Maybe it's possible he could be killed off for plot device. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it just looks like it's headed that direction.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I thought that we were going to have an Earth Flash and a Space Flash.
Which would be awesome. But how do you run in space? You can't even scream.
Yeah.
He's done it before.
Yeah.
They go to different planets and shit. And you know what? When they've got Green Lanterns, dude. That's like Space Uber.
Pretty much. Well, I guess technically, there's this character Space Cabbie that'd probably be more like the space taxi service. But Space Uber sounds like a good investment opportunity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Should get the Green Lantern Corps on that or something, or some like greedy like space character like.
No, you need to give it to the Lantern Corps. They got some rebuilding to do.
You need someone sleazier than that. Someone who really just wants to take advantage of it for like money. But I don't know any like characters who are all the like sleazy like space characters I know are from Marvel. I don't know any DC ones except Lobo, but he doesn't strike me as the enterprising type.
Sleaziest DC character to run that is the Guardians, because they need to rebuild Oa. They're broke.
That'd be a story.
Right?
The Guardians.
So, to get the money to pay the builders, they're just running a Space Uber.
Oh God!
And they're putting Space Cabbie out of business. So then there's a revolt, and Space Cabbie is going to fight the Green Lanterns, and there's your 6-issue story.
Right my God!
That's what happened to the battery.
It sounds like a Chip Zdarsky story.
They drove a cab into the battery. That's what happened.
Oh God!
Oh God!
Oh,
it was somebody that looked just like Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Oh God. All right, we'll be back to cover the rest of the issues right after this commercial break.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Now, back to our program.
And we're back. Hope that wasn't too horrible. Thanks for sticking with Not a Robot. Next up, we're going to be looking at the Batman Secret Files issue featuring Huntress. So, Josh, I'll let you talk about that one.
With pleasure. Written by Mariko Tamaki with interior art from David Latham and Trish Mulvihill, Rob Lee on letters, and a cover by Irvin Rodriguez. And just wow, what an awesome cover!
I know, right?
Are you familiar with this guy?
Only in that he did the covers to Robin Eternal for Future State. Other than that, I don't know anything else.
Those were pretty damn good too.
Yeah.
I like how this is tied into the current events, and it gives me hope that all of them will be, which makes for better reading, in my opinion. Plus, I want to find out what happened to, the story going on, and I think it'll be continued. But anyway, this is where we start. Helena has left the hospital as soon as she could stand up without throwing up, stealing Deb Donovan's coat to do so. They both have had the parasite successfully removed. Now, what happens in the story is basically the big bang of a long-winded, winding setup of Hugo Vile. Huntress is free of the parasite, but fully, no, not really. She's tracking down the people who are infected, and she's able to do it because she has a connection to Vile that allows her to see what his puppets see. She doesn't understand what it is or why she can do it, but now that looks like it's going to be her mission to take down Vile and his Garbage Pail Kids. So, that was funny. Sounds cool to me. Just don't drag it out too long. You know, I want to see her last past this story arc too, hopefully.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, she doesn't get to go after it for very long because she's pulled off with a more pressing concern. There's a bit of a bomb at the end that I don't really understand. It's continuing over into Detective 1041, so I don't get it, but like out of nowhere she's sitting there going over the facts, and then she goes, boom, oh shit, Batman's infected.
Yeah, I think they might have screwed up a little because I assume that this is a plot point that's gonna happen in 1041, but they kind of just like gave it to us in an issue that's coming out like 2 weeks earlier. I don't know why they would do that, but
accidental tip of the hat.
Yeah.
Maybe from when the issues were supposed to be released on the same week.
Maybe. But yeah, it feels like this should have come after 1041, just so you would have the context for that.
Right. But the art, man, in this, and the interior art anyway, there were real hard lines, but it looks super good. I liked it a lot. One complaint, really the only one that I had, is that the green stuff art, the goo, the worms coming out of the eyes, I wish that somebody else handled that. It wasn't horrible, but I feel like a stark contrast in the art laid over the art style that was used in the rest of the issue would have sold this phenomenally and made it look way better too. But anyway, 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It was great.
Mm-hmm. This was a really, really solid one, and I've been thinking that Mariko Tamaki had been doing some great stuff with Huntress, and this just kind of furthered that. It's just a really solid story. Definitely a quick read, but like I was having a lot of fun just going through it, and I'm a sucker for David Latham's art. He's just so great. So seeing him draw, anything in any capacity, especially something like Huntress and Gotham City, it was just a lot of fun to see, and it's just really cool. So. Yeah, I gave this one an 8.25 out of 10. Just a really solid, satisfying read.
I really hope we get more Huntress when this is all over. She's just a fantastic character that's underutilized.
Yeah.
And Mariko Tamaki, I think, has found a great voice for her.
Wait, what were you going to say, Josh?
I said you can say that again.
Oh, no, were you going to say something before? Or?
No, okay. That's it.
All
right. Yeah, so... I really hope that this, and I've said before, Detective Comics does not just have to be a Batman book. if ever they want to just give Bruce a night off, just let Huntress take the book for a couple issues, and you have a great detective right there. I really wish they'd use some of these characters a bit more. There's no reason, and maybe I'm just a sucker for the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, but if you have the Huntress and the Question in a book together, I'm sold.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love them characters together, and I never really watched that cartoon.
Oh, man.
They're a really good pairing.
If you are an OTP pairing of them, then you will love that episode.
Yeah.
Throw in Batwoman, man, and I think you got a title that could run for at least 12 issues.
Oh, definitely. That'd be amazing. Yeah, there's so many great detectives that they just forget about and just have, Batman, he's the world's greatest.
Yeah,
I think
you know
it's
what?
like. Eh?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it's like Flash being the fastest man alive. He's just not. There's so many others that are better.
Yeah, well, I think that's a kind of a really cool idea. Well, I think you could do something really cool with that idea of having like a revolving cast of detectives in Gotham City. Because I was thinking something like you could have like a 12-issue arc, or a big 12-issue story, and each issue features a different Gotham City detective basically working towards one overarching mystery. And I'm sure they've done something like that before, but it'd just be like a really great way to showcase, how each one of them applies their skills.
Yeah, and they wouldn't even have to stick to the one story the one story gimmick. They could stretch it out to 3 or 6 or whatever they needed to. But I think I'm just sitting here thinking a Batwoman, Huntress, and Renee Montoya book that was done like in the style of Daredevil would be really, really cool.
That would be amazing.
Like, street level. I know Brandon hates this word, but gritty.
Well, I don't hate the word, just
like-
when it's not overused.
Sleuthy story with those 3. That would be sick.
Yeah, it definitely would be.
There's so many hopes now. Maybe one day.
Maybe
one.
you could do like like Marvel had the Marvel Knights book where it was just like all the street level characters. You could do something like that with the Bat characters. I guess it's technically urban legends, or I know they had
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, they had Gotham Knights back in the day, but you could always have one of those. It's cool. Anyway, next up we have Superman, Son of Kal-El, the big debut of John Kent's time as Superman. So I'm going to let Rob take care of that one for us.
All right.
I feel like I need to say, is it really?
Well, he's it wasn't. Yeah, well, we'll get into it.
It's like current time debut as Superman. Yeah.
Okay, so this is from the legendary Tom Taylor. We love you, Tom.
His eminence, as Josh called him last issue, 'cause apparently he's the Pope now.
With art by John Timms, colors from Gabe Eltreb, and letters from Dave Sharp. So in the premiere issue, we see John taking on a forest fire that's described as a once-in-100-year fire by local firefighters. Investigating it further, he finds the source, a man that's literally on fire, and he cannot control it. The army is there and firing bullets towards him, but John puts a stop to that, and so did the fire because they just melted before they got anywhere. Getting closer, he scans the man and finds his powers might be controlled by his anxiety, and John gets the man to calm down and hands him over to the army, who then proceed to knock him unconscious so he cannot do any more harm. John felt very uneasy with that, and he still let them go anyway.
He wasn't very happy about it, though.
Oh, he really wasn't happy, no. And that unhappiness led him to go visit Damien, who then talks him through his troubles and leads him towards a group called The Truth, an underground stream devoted to reporting the things that others are afraid to. And quite honestly, this has been a great first issue. The only gripe I have is Damien looked like 5 years older.
Like he's 19.
Yeah, it was really weird. And even my internal voice for him was older just because the body looked older, and it was driving me crazy.
Yeah, I think it's just the artist just drew him as really tall, and like his face looked older too, and it was just kind of off-putting.
Yeah. Apart from that, though, I thought it was a great first issue. It really gets to the heart and soul of John Kent in a way, and I think Tom Taylor has a good voice with his iconic semi-background comedy that's just a one-liner and move on to the story, and it's really good. It's going to be a fun ride, I think.
Oh yeah,
it's an 8.5 for me.
Nice.
Yeah, not just fun, dude, but interesting too, like really interesting. I enjoyed the way that the beginning laid out how they were all friends and there for each other. John is coming into his own, acting the way that Superman does, and then he talks to Damian, who gives him a pep talk that could be a bit proactive in its methodology. Now that seems to have bolstered John a bit, but could it be a potentially bad way to handle things? It's likely this outlook that leads into John bottling Metropolis and Future State.
Yeah.
Possibly.
But fun times and a good setup, man. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, no, this issue also got an 8 out of 10 from me. I think I really enjoyed the setup. The biggest gripe I would say I had with this issue was that I feel like for it to really have landed for me as a setup for this new status quo for John, I just wish it had been a little longer. Is it? I don't know if you guys felt this, maybe not, but for me at least, it just kind of felt like John dispatches the fire.
Short.
Yeah, John dispatches the fire, talks to Damian, and I feel like I wish I could have had a little bit more of like John is maybe finding his place, his own like fortress of solitude type place, or just really kind of establishing his own thing. Whereas this just kind of felt more of like almost like a one shot, not necessarily a lot of setup. There is setup for sure, but just maybe not as much as I would have liked for a really, bombastic first issue. But other than that, Tom Taylor gets in, does what he usually does, and really nails the voices, especially John and Damian. And I love the opening scene with, the Justice League and how they really care for Superman. So, good stuff there. Just I wish it had been a little longer.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm with you on that. It felt like we could have had easily another 6 pages.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was actually thinking like another
conversation.
Yeah, 10 pages. Like I would have gladly taken that. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, for our last title this week, we have Teen Titans Academy number 5. Josh, take it away, my friend.
Absolutely, kind sir. Written by Tim Sheridan with art from Steve Lieber and Dave Stewart, letters from Rob Lee, wrapped in a cover from Rafa Sandoval and Alejandro Sanchez, a.k.a. Mr. Perfect Colors every single time. This issue is a trip through the origin story of the Bat-Pack, made up Chupacabra, Brat-Girl, and Megabat. They came from an orphanage that was selling kids for science experiments getting injected with a variation of the Man-Bat serum, which is how we got Chupacabra. Nightwing shows up to save the kids from the scientist, who is also transforming himself into a bat, though more like Man-Bat style, and Nightwing is able to take him down by using a dog whistle. After the orphanage was shut down, Nightwing offers the trio a shot at the Teen Titans Academy. So, Red X, if you remember, promised that he would show them his identity if they shared his story. And he did, though we did not get to see it. He's recognizable, though, right? Judging from the Bat-Pat's reaction of, no way. I mean, so they could tell who he was. Red X leaves just as Nightwing gets there and brings the pack onto the roof where they are celebrating the end of their first term. The panels in this book are sick, my dudes. I loved how the flashback is wrapped in the word flashback going all over the place. The writing is great too. Why does Nightwing need a dog whistle? Have a dog? No, but I could. Maybe someday. Who knows? I thought that was great. Red X and his secret identity is making me angry because I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
But what kind of clues have we gotten? Red X can take down the entire Suicide Squad single-handedly. They make Waller nervous. They're recognizable by face, though we don't know if there was another mask under the Red X mask. Could go that way too. And this seems personal between Red X and Nightwing. So please tell me one of you guys have at least an inkling as to who Red X is.
No idea. We've had a lot of guesses, but I still feel like we're no closer.
I think, honestly, all of them are wrong.
Yeah.
Because they've gone in so many different directions. And every time I think about somebody it could be, I think back to the yearbook issue where we got the backstory for Red X, and they were also an orphan that was being, like, the kids were being sold for
Mhm.
drug money or whatever. And
Yep. So it's not
that's some dark
Damien, it's
history.
not Tim.
If it is a Robin, it could be Jason.
It looks a little too young to be Jason.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's the thing.
Hmm.
And would Chupacabra recognize Jason?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
The only other person that we could think of that was an orphan that we know is in the academy is
Hmm.
Billy. But Billy's got his own shit going on in Shazam right now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard to say,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
it is.
it's a little weird that we're at issue 5 and they're already going on to summer break. It just makes you wonder how long the term is. I would have thought it would have at least been 12 issues before we get, a summer break, but it feels like they're moving
Looks
along
like
pretty
the
fast.
term is about 5 months, man.
I guess so. Jeez.
They got summer break, and I believe that's because we're going to be swinging into a different Titans title temporarily.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but
It's possible.
I think that I think it's going to change to like Titans United or something along those lines.
I thought that was a
For a little bit.
separate book, but
You might be right. I'm speculating here, but
Yeah.
just because I didn't see TTA coming out for a while.
yeah.
But dude, it looks great. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Even the backpack are growing on me. I wasn't sure now, but yeah, now I'm okay. This one got an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, this one was, solid. I think the star of the show is Steve Lieber, who's great, and his art has
yeah.
a lot of comedy, and it just works so well in comedic settings. But yeah, I mean, it was just kind of a solid issue for me, just looking at the backpack. So I gave this one a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I love the Bat Pack. I think they're great characters. Maybe, if they're popular enough, could also be side characters in Detective Comics one day. Who knows?
Or
But
Nightwing.
yeah,
Or Nightwing.
yeah. Oh,
Or we do the
oh,
rotating
God.
cast in Detective Comics, and they do the backup every month.
Oh yeah, and they could be like just pretending or trying to solve the same mystery that was just solved in the main story, but in their own
That'd be
kind
funny.
of comedic fashion. That'd be great. But yeah, I can agree that it did feel like the first. I thought it was semester, but the first term did go by a bit fast. But yeah, the pacing in the book it has been a little off, but I'm still loving it. And this is 7.75 for me. It's still a fun read, but yeah, the Red X mystery is getting old. It's been going on since January, I think.
Something
Too
like
long.
that. Yeah, too long.
Yeah.
Like, I just,
It's not annoying me. It's just not knowing who it is bothering the shit
yeah,
out of me.
it was, for me, it's definitely starting to get a little annoying because it's kind of just like, all right, how long are we going to tease this out? Because it's almost like usurping the main story. It basically is the main story at this point, just trying to solve who Red X is, and just like, all right, let's arrive somewhere, please.
Let's do something.
Yeah. All right, now that that's done, let's break down our top 3 books for this week and a standout moment if you have one. So, Josh, do you want to kick it off?
I can do that. My number 3 is Mr. Miracle. It looks like we're going to be clarifying the timeline and the history of Mr. Miracle while having some fun with it. The murkiness has always kind of just been there, and it's nice, at least to me, to see it wiped away. Number 2, Infinite Frontier. This is, so far anyway, this is the best event I've read coming out of DC in a long time. Now that's Red. Looked at, I don't know, I'm a Greg Capullo junkie, so. But, I mean, it looks beautiful too, man. Now, my number 1 went to Robin. It looks friggin' amazing. And while finally crawling, I mean, not crawling, but like going through a bit of development slowly with Damien, finally that he's becoming more than just a petulant child. And it's about damn time because he's a goddamn super son, and that means he'll be better than his dad too. Oh man, and my favorite moment is going to be seeing the Infinite Incorporated. That was cool as hell.
Awesome, awesome. Rob, how about you?
Mine is very similar, but my number three is going to Son of Kal-El. I said it before, it's a fantastic first issue, and I'm so excited to see Tom Taylor's voice for John that's not surrounded by zombies.
It was real tough for me, man, to not put that in there.
Yeah.
To ignore the imminence and not put him in the type 3.
The imminence.
I felt wrong doing that.
You're going to be excommunicated from the Church of Tom Taylor.
Oh no!
Oh, there's so much we could work on with that. So number two,
without getting creepy.
Yeah.
So number two is Infinite Frontier. It's been a blast, and for an event book, it's probably one of the best event books I've read in a long time. And number one is Robin. It's again just a fantastic ride. Yeah, my top two books are Joshua Williamson books.
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
That's a
very
so
strange,
but in a good
very
way. It's a very, very good surprise.
Yeah, no,
these two books are awesome.
Yeah, I mean, considering he's pretty much got the keys of the kingdom right now with Infinite Frontier, I mean, I'm glad we're liking it.
Yes, it's good. It's good that we can enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
My top three are very similar to you guys's, except that number three, I had Detective Comics 1040. I just thought this was a really, like I said, solid, setup issue, and I'm interested to see where it goes from here. But in number two, I had Infinite Frontier. Number three, and at number one, I had Robin. Number four, I just had to give it to Robin. Like, it was just seriously, like, I know I said it a lot, but it's just such a fun book. And like every month that I get to read it, it just like puts a smile on my face because it's just fun, really. Like that, I feel like I need better words to use for the book. Yeah.
See, for a second, when you got to number one, you said number one, Robin. Number four, I thought you were gonna like go through another list and just like rank every book we just talked about.
No. I mean, I'd love to, but we don't want to bore our audience too much. But my favorite moment still has to go to the panel of Dan Mora drawing the classic, blue and yellow bat suit, and he's punching the Joker. It was just so gorgeous looking, and Dan Mora is just
pretty
incredible.
Cool, man.
But while we enjoy a lot of books here, there are some books that we do not enjoy as much. You know what it's time for? It's time for
the biggest stinker.
Oh, that's nasty.
So, which title made your stink list today, guys?
Yeah, this is a tough one. I had two books scored the same in the bottom two, and I did not hate either one. But oh god, I might switch it if only for Josh bringing up Garbage Pail Kids. Huntress is no longer the biggest stinker. This time it's TTA, which kind of hurts because I love the Bad Pack. They're pumping out so many good books right now. It's hard, or at least the ones we're talking about anyway. It's hard to pick a biggest stinker. So TTA right now, it's you.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit harder to pick the big stinker when we've got the dump list on here now too, right?
Yeah.
But my deal is Batman Superman, and not that it's not gorgeous. Ivan Reyes is one of my favorite people on earth to draw Superman, but it is what it is, man. It's inconsequential, and I'm not attached to it anymore because I know there's an end to the line. So, unfortunately, y'all ended up there.
Yeah, my biggest stinker this week has to go to Teen Titans Academy, which by no means is a bad issue. Had some great art from Steve Lieber and is, solid all around, just not really outstanding in any way, and just kind of there for me. And like I said, the Red X mystery is starting to get a bit annoying. So, I'm hoping that can be resolved soon so it doesn't get seriously frustrating. All right, guys, any final thoughts?
Nope, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's the show. We hope you had fun. We definitely did. Come back next week for more DC Comics talk when we'll be reviewing Suicide Squad number 6, Green Lantern number 5, Crime Syndicate number 6, Suicide Squad, Get Joker number 1, Crush and Lobo number 3, Swamp Thing number 6, and Batman number 111. We'll be here talking comics, and we hope you'll stop by. Remember to go to notarobotpodcast.com for all of our episodes and our other shows with all sorts of people. With that, there's only one way that we say goodbye around here. Until next time.
Be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.
Just